I'm Mark, and welcome to Future Marketing and Transformational Technology. Without further ado, let's dive straight in. So this session today is really just an introductory session, but what we're really going to try and cover is obviously we're going to highlight what we're going to be doing in the module, but the actual focus of the session is really trying to get you to understand that we are moving beyond digital marketing and we're going towards what I would argue is called synthetic marketing. Don't worry, you'll find out. Future studies bit, well, that's the core academic theory that underpins the module. However, before I do dive in, a couple of clarifications. Firstly, you might have recognised Scottish accent. This is me speaking slowly, believe it or not, and this is me trying to be as clear and precise as I can. But I appreciate, because some of you guys are coming to this as English as your second language, that you might struggle with some of the terms that I might use. Don't worry, everything gets clarified in the workshop, folks, okay? Another point is I'm going to try and break these down into little clips, about maybe hopefully 10 minutes or so, okay? And that allows you to literally, jump around if you want. So you don't need to watch it in linear fashion. You don't need to be stuck here forever. You can jump around. Totally up to you, okay? So let's crack on. Now, again, another thing here is this idea here that we always put trigger warnings. I always put trigger warnings because some people might find some of this content quite worrying. That might even cause some offence. No offence is intended. As it says here, everything that we do is all about education. Okay, it's about educational substance, and we believe that everything we're doing is for a purpose. Okay, so we're not trying to offend anyone, but some people might get upset. However, what are we doing? Well, the key thing here is the first thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try and pop your logi bubble. Now, your logi bubble basically is your logical view of the world, your world view, how you see the world, how you don't even question things. So we're going to try and, pop that logi bubble. Some of you guys already know me, and you'll know exactly what I mean, right? But for those of you who don't, well, what does it mean? Well, basically, it's this idea. If we can get you to take on some new ideas, then ideally you'll see the world differently, you'll think differently, and therefore your practice, what you will do, will be different and hopefully innovative and creative, which is exactly what the market's looking for. So that's the whole idea. Let's pop your logi bubble, okay? Now, straight away, you might want to say, what? Yeah, but the key thing is don't worry, because everything that we do is going to be clarified in the workshops. So don't panic, okay, about any of this, okay? Some people get a bit freaked out by some of this stuff, and it is a bit out there. Let's get that up front and center, okay? It shouldn't be your traditional, usual module. This should certainly shake up a few of you. So we're going to try and do three things today, really. First thing, what's the module about? Second thing, it's going to be about this, beyond digital marketing, okay? We're going to cover that idea of what do we mean by beyond digital marketing. And most importantly, this whole idea of, well, what is this future studies stuff, okay? Because we're going to be coming from a future studies angle, right? Well, when we talk about it, I'm trying to do this.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
That's right. All we're trying to do is offer the truth, nothing more. Now, by truth, that's a very contentious term, and deliberately so. So we're going to be critiquing things. I want you to question things. I want you to ask lots and lots and lots of questions, okay? That's the key. Don't be silent. Ask questions. Very important, that bit. So what's the module really about? Well, it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle is what it is, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to try and put it all together. But the first thing to get this is all about what we call the age of acceleration. So we need to put the module in context. We're talking about this age of acceleration, right? And the best way to really get that across, and really what the module is really all about when we talk about transformational technology, is to watch this little video. So watch this. Okay, what did you get out of the clip? Because we're trying to use that clip to frame what the module's really all about. Well, what the module is really focusing on is this idea of acceleration, or how we live in an age of acceleration. That clip starts with highlighting the shift to the fourth industrial revolution, which is all part of this age of acceleration. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, the first thing is just have a look at the time spans from the first to the second to the third, and the third to the fourth, and how they get smaller and smaller and smaller, or shorter and shorter, or what we would argue is how the speed, the scale, and the scope of transformational technologies is such that it's totally transforming everything, how we work, how we live, how we learn, and that's exactly what we're trying to say. That's actually what the clip said, if you remember. First thing it says there, it's going to actually challenge the very essence of human experience, of what it really is to be human, okay? So it's really going to challenge us and challenge what we think about. And it's asking us a simple question, really, and this is what the module's asking. So what is the future of business? Or really, more importantly for us, what's the future of marketing? Or actually, fundamentally, what is the future of what it means to be human? Because if we're talking about marketing, we're talking about markets. If we're talking about markets, we're talking about people, okay? And it's changing us, and we need to prepare you for that future, okay? Absolutely essential. And that's really what this module is all about. It's all about highlighting what we call transformational dark technologies. Don't worry, I'll come to that, right? What we mean by that, and highlighting how it's going to challenge how our biological, basically that's our physical human biology, our physical world, everything that you see around you, everything you touch, taste, feel, right? And your digital world are all bridging and blurring and transforming. And for that situation, we need to try and prepare you for that possible future, okay? And this is what this module is really all about. And it's really going to challenge you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, what are we going to actually do as an assessment for this module? Well, I'll cover assessment, and I'll cover that in a separate clip. You can see it there. So if you see the separate clip, just jump to it and have a look if you like. But for now, I'm going to actually jump to the second thing, and this whole idea of, digital marketing. Okay, let's have a look at that.